North of us, Canada is in a fight with Facebook's parent company Meta over the way news is distributed over social media. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Meta must comply with his pay for news law, but Facebook fired back, standing by their decision to block news rather than pay. Let's discuss this battle between Prime Minister Trudeau and Meta with our friend from the North, Michael Charbon, host of the Charbon Report. Michael, catch us up here. So right now, as it stands, there's no news on social media in Canada. Is that what this is at?
Sorry, John, I'm not hearing you, but I believe your question was with regards to the Meta scenario and some money that's been put aside for people to have the availability to watch American news. This is just one of the problems that Justin Trudeau is currently having. Many others, particularly now with the UN vote. So, John, there's a lot of problems that are happening, and Trudeau's numbers in the polls are sliding drastically. And we think there may be an election that's going to come up quite soon. I mean, in the United Nations, Canada voted for the ceasefire, and that's a departure totally of what Canada has always been in backing the United States. So Trudeau's in a bit of problems, and I think Poilievre, who is a conservative leader, is gaining strength, and there's a lot of problems in Canada.
That's a good point. This Poilievre, he's a leader of the opposition in Canada. He's really given Justin Trudeau a run for his money in terms of getting elected. He's been in politics for a long period of time. A lot of people are saying that he resembles very much like the Trump, that he's taking a lot of his, even former president's verbiage in his speeches. Maybe give the American viewers a little bit of context as to what you're seeing.
So what Poilievre represents is a backlash against liberalism. He is talking about smart economics. He's talking about strengthening borders. He's talking about eliminating taxes. A lot of what Trudeau did in putting a tax on gas and this Green New Deal is crippling many people west of Ontario. And west of Ontario, there's a large legion of people who are following the conservative point of view. And yes, Poilievre has very much more of an abrasive attack scenario. He's not going to sit and take the general political malaise that a lot of the Liberals are doing. And he is offering a decisive choice and a difference that I think Canadians are already expressing in double digits in the election numbers that are going across nationally. And I believe we will have an election in 2024 parallel to you folks in America. It's going to be very interesting. And there may be, John, a conservative wave, but we've seen that before, but I think there is a chance this time.
And we're starting to see that down here as well. But I want to zero in on this, that Ottawa's releasing this promised electric vehicle regulation. This is something the Biden administration is doing as well. They want to have electric cars by, I believe it's 2030. It's funny, I was in a car today with an Uber driver that drives a Tesla. He said, I hate the thing. There's no charging stations. And it brings me to the point, in Canada, it's so vast. There's less population. The cities are smaller. How are they going to do this in Canada, where if you're going to shift to EV, especially when you've got far less population, longer distances between places to go, is this going to work in Canada, and is this going to be Trudeau's demise?
I don't know if it's going to be his demise, but let's talk about consumers. The consumer always determined what's going to happen next. There were too many electric vehicles available for sale. The internal combustion engine still reigns supreme. And let's talk about a larger picture. Where are you going to get all this power from? We already have, look in California. They're saying they're not selling any more EVs. You can't charge them up because they're having brownouts. We have exactly the same situation. It's one of these things. It's aspirational, yes, but are you really going to spend in Canada over $60,000, $70,000 for an electric vehicle? I mean, it's tough. And yes, the land mass is larger. We have a larger scape. So you have to have more incidences of charging stations. This is still going to take some time. And unfortunately, I think this is an incorrect approach, too fast, too soon, without having the ability to have charging stations and bringing down the cost. They tried to give tax relief to people who were buying EVs, and then everybody got upset because it's almost elitist, as one would say, John.
Exactly, and the one thing that driver said was when it's cold out, the battery power doesn't last as long. Canada gets to minus